Hello, it's Andrew. I'm back with another YouTube video. This one's about Brexit and what might happen next. And well, I'm going to be bold. What could happen next is that Jeremy Corbyn becomes Prime Minister before Christmas. I'm recording this on November the 17th, so not long to go till Christmas. So I thought I'd just give some ideas of why I've been making this bold claim to a few people, and I seem to be forever getting involved in discussions with people about Brexit. So it's a Saturday now. So the last few days, the Theresa May, after much, how can we put it, very confused negotiation with the European Union and various definitive statements come out every few months about what she's aiming for and what she's going to get. She's eventually come back from Europe with a very bad deal. A deal that nobody seems to like, or not many people. I do, maybe I exaggerate. Anyway, so she's come back with a deal. I felt genuinely for many months now, whatever deal she comes back with, she won't get it through the House of Commons because there's various different groups of people: hard Brexit, soft Brexit, no Brexit, general election, second referendum, and all sorts of sub sub subplots within these different themes. So I've kind of thought, with the fact that Conservative government, she hasn't got a majority in the House of Commons, she's going to have difficulty getting the deals through as the months have passed, and it's obviously been a case of how chaotic her government's approach to Brexit has been, that she's not going to get anywhere. So yes, that's basically, I cannot see her. Sorry, there's a thought. There's a thought dwelling in my mind. It was quite important. It suddenly got away. I do say to people that these videos are pretty much unscripted, but I just sit down and talk. And as I say, I don't have a script, so I just trust that my thoughts will get me there. Right. So we've reached the situation now that she's come back with a deal. Now, the idea is at the end of November, there'll be a European summit at which she and all the other governments of Europe, of the European Union, will agree this deal that she's brought back in draft. And then sometime in December, it will get put before the House of Commons. Now, this is the point where lots of MPs and lots of political commentators saying there's very little chance that a majority of the House of Commons will actually vote for this deal. So what happens next? Well, I think there'll be an ignominious defeat for Theresa May. Now, I may be slightly biased on this because I'm a member of the Labour Party. I've been a member of the Labour Party for 34 years. On the other hand, I do claim, without, I don't want to claim to be an expert, but I've got a lot of political experience. I've written quite a lot about politics and political history in Britain. I've done quite a bit of political blogging, so I kind of feel that, and I'm a bit of a constitutional nerd, so I've got quite an interest in these things. I mean, personally, I voted for Brexit with a very heavy heart. I never believed the Tories when they said they were going to put more money into the NHS, certainly not £350 million a week. I found all the anti-immigration and imperialistic jingoism that went with it of the Tories and UKIP was appalling. My main concern was, as a traditional left-wing Labour Party member, I've always been sceptical about the European Union because I see it as a vehicle for multinational capitalism. I believe in a strong British socialism where we have the ability to renationalise the various things privatised by Thatcher and the Tories. We need strong public service. We need to renationalise the utilities, the railways. And basically, there's a lot of doubt whether we can do that as a nation without falling foul of the European Union's capitalist competition laws. I also don't believe that Britain should be subject to the jurisdiction of the European Court. I think our Parliament should make our laws. I've got no problem. I do feel myself being pro-Britain having good relations with our neighbours in Europe, in fact with everybody in the world. But I don't see that the European Union, which has gone through a succession of crises in recent decades, is the vehicle to do that. So coming back to my scenario, Theresa May's been defeated. Now, at this point, I hope that Labour, Jeremy Corbyn, providing good leadership as usual, and the front bench team will then propose a motion of no confidence in Theresa May's government in the House of Commons. Now, the arithmetic's tight, and I've been looking at the arithmetic in more detail today. I just need to refer to a little bit of paper that I've got it all written down on. Basically, the 650 members of the House of Commons. Now, 7 of them, the Sinn Féin MPs, don't take their seats. 4 of them, the Speaker and the 3 Deputy Speakers, don't vote. So if that's 11 of the MPs aren't eligible or wishing to make themselves eligible to vote. So that leaves 639 MPs. Now, 315 of them are Conservatives, which leaves 324, the combined total of all the other parties, plus the Independents. But 2 of the Independents are Conservatives who've been suspended while allegations are looked at. Sorry, suspended from the Conservative Party, but not suspended from the House of Commons. So adjusting the totals, the 315 Conservatives becomes 317, and the combined rest of the parties 322. So all the other parties put together have more MPs than the Conservatives by 5. So it would effectively need all of them to vote, apart from possibly a handful, no confidence in May's government. Alternatively, I mean, I can't actually see many or any Conservative MPs voting no confidence in May's government. But it is possible that the defeat of the Brexit plan, such as it is, it's not really a plan, would then spark a vote of no confidence. It's possible that that would be carried. What would happen next? Well, we're into the terms of the Fixed Term Parliament Act, which basically states that Parliament lasts 5 years unless either 2/3 of the House of Commons vote for a general election, which is what happened in 2017, but I don't think that'll be happening this time, or House of Commons votes no confidence in the government, and then there's no reversal motion carried to vote confidence in the government within 14 days. It doesn't actually strangely state whether it's whether the motion has to express confidence in the outgoing government or express confidence in an incoming government, but I would take it to say any government, because basically at the point Theresa May, if there is a vote of no confidence in Theresa May's government, then she should resign. The question there is, and this is where our unwritten constitution is vagaries are a problem, what happens next? Now, some people say that the Queen as monarch should send for the next best placed Conservative MP who she thinks can cobble together a government. Other people think that then the role of Prime Minister should be offered to the Leader of the Opposition, in this case Jeremy Corbyn, and I think that is what should happen. Based on some precedents, there are not many precedents for this sort of situation, and the actual rules aren't clear because they're not defined and they are debated. But I'm quite strongly of the belief that the constitutional position is that the Leader of Opposition should then be offered the chance to form a government. I do believe that Labour could ally with the SNP, Plaid Cymru, the single Green MP, possibly some of the Liberal Democrats, to actually form a workable minority government which could then assess the situation, see whether it's possible to go back to the European Union to negotiate a more sensible Brexit, or perhaps to hold a second referendum. As I said earlier, I voted for Brexit. We all know that various claims and counterclaims are made by both sides, leave and remain in the referendum. We know that Brexit basically was carried on the basis of promises that were very unlikely to be carried out. We were told there would be £350 million for the NHS. We wouldn't be paying any more money to the EU. Now we're paying a £39 billion settlement fee. That we'd be out of the single market, we'd be out of the customs union. As I said, I personally want to be out of the single market and the European Court of Justice. I do actually think there is a good case for a sensible customs arrangement between us and the EU. So, in summary, I do believe it's possible that Jeremy Corbyn could be Prime Minister. We could have a Labour government or a minority government led by the Labour Party before Christmas. It's quite likely that there'll be a general election, either prompted immediately by a no confidence vote in Theresa May's government, or it's possible if Labour does lead a minority government, then there'll be other parties will vote immediately against that. As I say, the parliamentary arithmetic is very tight, but either way, it looks like there'll be another general election, possibly even a second referendum on Britain's EU membership. So those are my thoughts. I hope that's been of interest to some people, and I shall be back another day with some thoughts on, well, who knows what, but it's certainly going to be an interesting time politically. Thank you and good night.